B&B Ireland, perhaps the most authentic of all Irish tourism products, where you get to stay with an Irish family. How has business been so far this year, Helena?
Well, Eamon, business has been mixed this year. We've certainly seen an increase in some areas on last year. More or less the tourism hotspot areas, I have to say. The areas maybe outside of that or in other parts of the country haven't done as well. But overall we would say there certainly was an increase in business, but certainly not across the entire country. I think that's what we're finding in most sectors, in fact, this year. But unlike many other sectors of the industry, the bulk of your business comes from overseas. So which markets were doing better than others this year? It does come from overseas. I mean, the overseas visitors like the B&B product.
Sure.
They like the Irish family experience, staying in an Irish home. France would be the country that we've certainly seen being the leader in the upturn for us this year. Germany, the US. I mean, we're lucky, I suppose, that the French like the B&B product.
Which is great.
They come into the west of Ireland.
Stay a little longer as well.
They do. I mean, they get their car and they drive around. They do the car tours, which is good for the country properties.
Sure. Are these people who bring their own cars, or do they tend to rent cars?
Both.
Bit of both.
Both. But we do a lot of car tours now as well, particularly with some of the tour operators. So it's very popular. The Germans, of course, love the countryside. They love the countryside, the farmhouses, and then of course the US visitors. We just like to see a lot more of them. You know?
And how about Britain? You used to do well from Britain. Is it still a bit slow?
Britain is still very slow. I mean, a lot of our properties, particularly here in the northwest, would have relied on the British market, and are suffering because of the reduction in British visitors. The British like the B&B product. Again, they bring their car and they drive around. And again,
maybe the Queen's visit, maybe for next year, that might have more of a positive impact.
Yes,
of course, they have a big recession of their own over there as well, and we need that to start getting better first.
I mean, there's a lot of problems in Britain, and with their own economy, and you see the riots this week as well. So they've got a lot to deal with over there. They have
indeed. And what do you think are the barriers towards getting better growth rates into the West than we've enjoyed for the last couple of years? What do you think are the things we need to be looking at to?
I suppose access is the number one thing into the West. I know myself from talking to some of our German colleagues, if they were to be able to get the German visitors directly here into the West, say into Knock or into Shannon, that you would keep them then in the west of Ireland. And the Germans want to be in the West. They don't necessarily want to have to make a trip to get here.
That's right.
So access certainly is really the most important.
And I suppose though it's hard to conceive that all of the airports in the West will continue to remain successful with the PSOs going, for some of them, particularly Sligo and Galway. But I suppose really if we could get Cork, Shannon, Knock, Donegal with reasonably good services, and the road network is better to Dublin, and Belfast of course will service the northwest.
I mean, the road into the west of Ireland now, I mean, if you were to travel from Dublin to any part of the west, there's an hour taken off your journey with the way the roads have improved in the last number of years. And I suppose getting that message out into the overseas visitors is important.
I think there is a lot in what you say, that a lot of people probably don't know that yet, that it is so easy to get from Dublin Airport to the west.
I mean, Ireland traditionally is known for the bad roads, but that's part of the charm of Ireland as well. So we don't want to lose that message. But to get the message across that our highway networks.
And indeed, we've left a few of those bad roads around for a while anyway, just to remind them of the past.
We have, and they're important as well.
Absolutely. But I often wonder about the B&B business, Helena, with hotel prices as low as they've been for the last number of years. God, it must be hard to compete with that. How do you manage? I mean, hotel prices are probably in the last year particularly as low as they're ever going to be. And B&B rates, the competition from hotels is huge, but the B&B product is a very different product, and we can't sell on price, because it just wouldn't be competitive for the B&B product to be any lower than what it is at the moment in terms of price. In terms of price, you can get a B&B for 30 to 35 euros, including a full Irish breakfast. So that's very good value for money. Excellent value.
The client that wants to stay in a B&B is different from the client that wants to stay in a hotel. You have your overseas visitors that want the Irish experience, they want to stay in an Irish home, they want to meet the Irish host, get some of that local knowledge that they have, experience this maybe homegrown food in some cases. And that's very different to a hotel offering.
Sure.
So we try not to compete on price, because that's not just an option, but to compete on really the product itself.
Sure. Well, I think that's a smart way to go.
Yeah.
And I hear some very good B&B Ireland radio ads of late, and you're doing some more advertising on the home market. How is the domestic market doing?
The domestic market for some parts of the country, for our B&B, say in the Midlands and places like that, would be very important, and they would do quite a lot of domestic business.
Yeah.
But for the other areas, like particularly here in the West, we are reliant on the overseas visitors more so.
Sure.
But the whole, you've heard about the B&B classification and categorisation.
Yeah. Tell us where you're at on that.
Yeah, I mean, just before we move on to that, I suppose all I wanted to say on that one was that's going to help the home market.
Of course.
Because the home market can now see with a B&B, what a 3-star is, what a 4-star is, and with the actual categorisation as well. You have the fishing and the walking specialists. So again, that will be attractive.
Absolutely.
The farm stay for the families.
Sure.
Where we are at the moment, well, B&B Ireland, we have 600 of our properties actually classified at the moment, and Fáilte Ireland are working towards getting all of them done.
Yeah.
The categorisation really has just started to get rolled out. We have about 300 categorised properties at the moment. So it's coming on very well. Oh, it is.
It'll be complete in 2012.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be.
Well, that's terrific. And that, as you say, will give you a boost not just on the domestic market but overseas.
That's right.
So thanks for talking to us, Helena, and the very best of luck for the future.
Thank you.